Hey guys, welcome back to We Watch a Movie. I am Mike. Thanks for spending a moment of your day with me. Let's talk some horror movie news on this glorious Tuesday. We shall sucketh the day's cock. You know what's funny? I can't put horror news in the title. I can't put it in the description. Because if you put the word horror on YouTube, they immediately ding you for it. They just flick you right in the back of the nutsack. Just a little boop. But first up, Doug Bradley himself, the legendary Pinhead, gives his thoughts about Jamie Clayton playing the new Pinhead in the new Hellraiser movie, which is now coming to us on Hulu on October the 7th. He said, "It seemed like a female Pinhead was coming. It's an interesting piece of casting. I don't know Jamie. Of course, they've taken even a little bit of a wrinkle in that because Jamie is transgender. I'm not familiar with her recent work, but there was a science fiction series on Netflix several years ago called Sense8, which I was quite a fan of. Jamie was in that, and I really, really liked her performance in that. Really can't say more than that. I do like to point out I did wear a skirt as Pinhead. It's an interesting casting decision. Well, that only goes so far. We say female Pinhead like we know what that means. But there are a million shades of femininity. Where exactly are they going to go with that? Everything about Hellraiser has always been transgressive. Everything, always, from start to finish. It's not a new idea in that sense, but I'm intrigued. I'm in the same position as all the rest of you, I guess, to see where it goes." Got a thing you do. He did confirm also that Chatter was going to be in the movie because he said he's like 6'9" and a beanpole. I don't know what the fuck a beanpole is. So they're going in lots of different directions. It's another interesting casting idea. Cenobites of all shapes and sizes. What is a beanpole, Google? A beanpole is a stick for supporting bean plants. Image? This might get dirty. So I guess just tall and thin with beans on it. I've said this before, I'm really excited to see this version of Pinhead because, you know, women scare me more than men do, you know? And I think two of the scariest Cenobites in the history of Hellraiser were the Cenobites in Hellraiser Inferno. The ones that were, like, rubbing underneath his fucking skin while they, like, licked his face and shit, and their hands were, like, going in his skin holes, and they were, like, skin fucking him. That was disgusting and fucked up. But I'm really excited to see this new version of it that you know is going to be taken seriously because it's by David Bruckner. Just because it's going to Hulu clearly doesn't mean shit. Look how great Prey did and all that. But, like, I think they're going to take this seriously. It's going to be the first iteration of Hellraiser we've gotten in so long that's not a direct-to-DVD or direct-to-VOD thing. And they did the best they could with Judgment, but let's be honest. I mean, they had like $8 in a pack of gum, and that was a real labor of love, and I think they still did an amazing job considering what they had. I mean, they made a fucking tightrope out of twine with that movie. So I'm really excited. It's going to be the first movie in fucking forever of Hellraiser that's been taken super seriously, and it seems like had the funds and the right talent behind it to make it what it is. So I'm with him, and I'm down for seeing a beanpole fucking Chatter. Hell, I just learned what a beanpole was today. Meanwhile, Terrifier 2 played this weekend at Fright Fest. Chicago. It just played at UK's Fright Fest. Fright frickin' fucking frackin' fries. It just played at Fright Fest. I can't fucking say it. It just played at Fright Fest in the UK. You sound like you're from London. The reviews coming out of it, and they're not Rotten Tomatoes reviews. That's not official. But now we do this thing where they're like, hey, reactions on Twitter are cool. Just don't write an actual fucking review about it. And the reactions on Twitter are pretty great. Now, keep in mind, this is the core audience, right, for a Terrifier 2 movie. But that's you and me, right? I mean, if you're watching this fucking video, that's you and me. So these are the ones that matter to us. I mean, I'm just saying, like, it may look different when it goes to Rotten Tomatoes, and Steve from the Union Tribune, who just reviewed my fancy winter coat in the French sun, you know, at Fuckfest in 1997, he may not enjoy this, so the scores could be very different, but Terrifier 2 promised a lot for fans, but somehow actually delivered more. Ultra gory, stupendously violent, and utterly insane on every level. Now, these were sourced from Bloody Disgusting, but I saw it on my Twitter feed as it was happening. I saw a lot of these same ones, and a lot of people reiterating the same kind of sentiment. I did hear somebody say they didn't know how they were going to top the, chainsaw splitting someone by the vagina while they hung upside down and their titties bounced around everywhere, but apparently there's a kill in here that actually fucking tops it, which is insane to me. And I've also seen a lot of reactions talking about how there's some weird dream stuff they do where, like, you can't tell if it's a dream or what's going on with that, but there's like a almost Nightmare 3 Dream Warriors aspect to some of the movie, which just intrigues me even more. I think Terrifier 2 is gonna be a fucking... If you can make a Terrifier 2 movie and make it 2 hours and 20 minutes long, and people are saying it's fucking awesome and they didn't mind, it's gonna be something goddamn wild. You know what I mean? I'm excited to see it. I'm very excited to see it. It looks like it's doing fucking well. So far, off to a good start. And it's this fucking October, along with Hellraiser. It's gonna be a good goddamn Halloween season. Speaking of Halloween, the tiniest little just butt tinge of Halloween news that we've got here is Fright Rag's September previews. I saw this on Reddit from user Shredeve, and it's pretty fucking sexy. That one insert down there is dope as hell. It reminds me of the Batman, like with the red lights and stuff, but just the way he's holding the knife, pretty badass. Is there anything that could be garnered from the movie? If there's a scene where Laurie's holding a fucking pumpkin, now there was a pumpkin behind her in that one scene. If there's a scene where Laurie's holding the knife, walking down the street, holding a pumpkin covered in blood, that sounds like a credit drop sequence to me. Now these shirts don't go off of the movies every time or half the time, or I don't know. I'm just saying, if you were to look at it that way, what would a scene like? Imagine the end of Halloween ends. She's just walking down the street holding a fucking pumpkin going, I fucking love this shit. Who's next? It's a dope ass design though. Like Michael's, the eyes being orange there, and that, holy shit, that's cool as hell. And then there's, if history's taught us anything, you do not want to be in a room with Michael Myers around plated glass windows. You know what I mean? Like the art windows. My dog's snoring so fucking loud. I'm sure you can hear it. You know, with everything we've heard about not having as much Michael in this movie, definitely having less violence than kills as we expected, if there's a scene where he ends up getting covered in that much fucking blood, I'm all for it. At least, even if there's not that much, if there's just a couple scenes and they just go goddamn hard, I think that would totally make up for it, especially if it's an important character we're talking about. But yeah, man, they know what they're doing over there at Fright Rags. That shit looks good. And in today's version of Should I Be As Turned On As I Am Right Now, Jennifer Tilly posted this picture of her on the set of Chucky season 2, and it says her last day of filming. And you know, there's not much to say there. I just, damn, Jennifer Tilly still has it. And very excited for Child's Play season 2. Season 1 kind of fucking ruled, so that was shockingly good. Hopefully they'll continue that. Speaking of continuing shit, Tusk 2. Kevin Smith is reportedly planning a sequel to Tusk 2, which to me, I think is fucking awesome. I think it's his probably most underrated film. I'm a huge Kevin Smith guy though. Like, just that's, me and Jay grew up with that humor. That's the, you know, we love Kevin Smith. But I actually thought Tusk, and also Justin Long, one of the most underrated actors to me in the world, and he has a movie coming out next week called Barbarian, a horror movie that I'm going to go see as well. But anyways, talking to people about this stuff, Justin Long said, you'll be happy to hear Kevin. I mean, I guess they're talking about it. They're doing Tusk 2, I think. And apparently, according to Bloody Disgusting, this has come up before, back in August of 2020. And there's this whole thing in here about how Kevin Smith said he had an idea for Tusk 2. So there's a way to do Tusk 2 where Justin becomes Michael Park's character, Wallace becomes sort of the new Howard Howe. That idea I'm fucking in for, because I'd love to see Justin Long chew on the scenery, do that. I want to see it. What do you guys think about it? What did you guys think about Tusk? I thought it was underrated as fuck. I thought the first half was hilarious. Michael Parks was scary as shit, and the end was just fucking batshit wildness. If somebody else had done that movie, they would. So I think some people would have called it like an auteur masterpiece or some shit. But because it was Kevin Smith, I feel like it was overlooked in a lot of ways. But let me know how you guys feel about it. I know he's very controversial. Some people do not feel that way whatsoever. And then finally, guys, the last piece of news to talk about today. Actually, it's not the last piece of news, but no good news is left. It's all fucking bad news. It's all bad news from Land Count Fuckington. The Friday the 13th movie, the whole thing where Sean Cunningham put on his cameo. We talked about this last week. And I said, we don't know if this was on his cameo for fucking 5 years. Maybe before, when he thought he was going to win, maybe he was just so confident that he was going to win the court battle, he just threw on his cameo this thing. But someone noticed it, and they said at the bottom of Sean Cunningham's cameo, it said all this shit, and then it said new Friday movie coming 2023. So we all took that as, hey, we'll take any goddamn Good Friday the 13th news we can get. Maybe we're getting a new one in 2023. They got shit worked out, and we don't know about it yet. Because one of the producers was just talking to Bloody Disgusting about how we should be hearing some news soon. Was this the news? Oh my God. Let's take off our shirts in Little Caesars. But no, it does not look that way, because as soon as the news story came out and we all started talking about it, my buddy Eric here, who is not a fucking loser, like his Twitter handle says, sent me this that says he updated his cameo and took that off of the cameo. So Sean Cunningham essentially was like, it was either A, he was like, oh shit, that ain't happening, I better take that down. Or B, it's still happening, and he was just like, oh shit, I didn't think anybody noticed, and somebody called him and yelled at him. It was like, you can't say that right now, Sean. You gotta dunk that shit. So one of the two. It doesn't mean it's not happening, but it's not good news. That fucking blows. Maybe he was just tired of answering questions about it, so he took it down. So, and then finally, not great news either. Just another a little piece of Scream 6 news for you guys. Neve Campbell did another interview with Jeff Conway. It was a great interview. Did a great job from Forbes.com. And she talks about, she first reiterates the same thing she said, but it is worth talking about because there are still people who are out there saying, no, I know better, and Neve is in Scream 6. I know it for sure. So there's still people that saying that, but to me, I just bring up the same thing again. If she's going to say what I'm about to read to you, and keep saying it over and over and over again, right now, currently, when allegedly she's already filmed for Scream 6, unless it's a tie-in to the movie, which would be a bold strategy, Cotton, unless it's a direct tie-in to a meta version of the movie, I find it hard to believe that Spyglass and Paramount and whoever would be like, yeah, go out there and call us sexist. That way it'll be a huge surprise when you show up in the movie. I could be wrong. I'll be pleasantly surprised if she shows up in Scream 6. I'll go, holy shit, that's fucking wild. But I'm telling you, it makes no goddamn sense to me. She goes on to also say, by the way, that she was dicked over on the payments for Scream 5. I think it's time for us to say, no, it's not okay. This doesn't feel right. Even on the last Scream film, being Scream 5, I took a number, and granted, it was COVID, and we didn't know what the world was going to look like, and I didn't know if I was going to work again, but I did the project for something that did not feel right to me, and it didn't feel good. If we keep undervaluing ourselves or letting people sort of step on us, it's not going to be good for your self-worth, and it's certainly not going to be good for people, the way people perceive you. So I think it's just really important to respect oneself and to demand respect. Which, interesting, she's basically confirming that she feels like she got dicked over on Scream 5 with what she was paid, and that in her mind, now this is the part that really makes sense to me from her perspective, is that she's like, okay, I'll do it for this number for Scream 5, but if it works out for Scream 6, I'll have a payday, right? And then she goes to Scream 6, and maybe they came to her and like, hey, look, we have a cameo or a really small role, so we're only going to pay you this. It's fair for the amount of time you're going to be in the film, and then in 7, that's going to be your payday. You know, like a lot of people have, you know, my whole theory about them revealing it was Stu in part 7, or other people's theory about her just being a big part of 7, but not being a big part of 6, just setting that up, which I think is smart from a movie standpoint. But if she was promised to get the bag on 6, and then they said, we'll just wait till 7, then I think that could be where the disconnect came from. That would make a lot of sense to me. And I kind of get what she means there. She's like, I know that you're saying it's a small part, but I did the small amount for this. So you show faith in me rather than me being expected to show faith in you again. That stuff I kind of understand. I really do. I'm not one of these boycott the movie because there's 100 fucking other people whose careers depend on it. And, you know, the other actresses in the film still felt comfortable going and taking what they were given. So there's a lot going on there. But I just think it's one of those unfortunate situations. I don't think it's something that anybody should hate Neve Campbell over, certainly. I totally respect and understand where she's coming from. And I also think it's ridiculous to fucking boycott the movie as well. I think that's dumb. I think they'll work it out. She'll be in Scream 7. That's what I think will happen. But I really don't think she's in fucking Scream 6. But I don't know why I'm talking like this, except for the fact that that is the movie news of the day. A lot of tiny stories, but I had fun talking to you guys about them, and we will see you guys super fucking soon. Please click the subscribe button. Don't forget to do that. I love y'all's fucking faces, man. God damn.
Hey guys, this is Mark Wahlberg here, and I just want to tell you about We Watch the Movies Patreon again. They got over 60 full movie commentaries over there, Nicole, plus a new one every month. Almost 100 extra movie reviews, behind the scenes, bloopers, and outtakes videos. They'll send you a signed picture and a Wham Video membership card. You get 20% off all their merch. I'll put the link below. Click it, Nicole. Let me in your fucking house.
What are you gonna do on October 31st?
What are you gonna do on October 31st?
Here comes that white-faced fucker, an asshole like no other. He's a big old piece of shit. Wants to stab your sister's tits cause he's a white-faced fucker. Loomis can't recover, Dr. Challenge drunk again, sleeping with your sister's friends.
Do you want to know about the darkness?
I said, God damn.
God damn you, faggot!
I said, God damn.
A lot of people don't know the darkness that goes inside their hearts.
I said, God